welcome to Drawing with Fire. I am Valarie, your neighborhood pyrography artist, and I'm joined with hubby.
Okay.
And we are doing framing stuff today. The reason we're doing that is because I had a lot of stuff to frame, and I bought this frame specific for this raven, and I love how it makes it look. It's so pretty. Problem is, when I took off the protective corners, we got this, and quite a few corners. So what I'm going to do is try best I can to mask it with some bronze and copper plated gold leaf. I also have, and there seems to be more and more of them than I realized, which really upsets me because I realized I got this frame on sale for, I think it was like $11 after coupons. Actually, made more than that, less than that. I expected this to look really pretty, and now we're having to drop off this afternoon, and so we got to get this fixed. Now, on the other camera up here, where'd he go? He ran away. Jason's going to be putting hanging wire on the back. And did you bring your paper in too?
Yep.
Now, if you make your frames or you don't want to mat your pieces, that is totally fine. If you're happy with how your piece looks, that's all that matters. Now, for me, and I'm taking this away so I don't get any ink or anything on it, it's hard to, everything has to be bright so you guys can see it. I used watercolor pencils and light water to color in the flowers. And we got the moon, and this is glossed, and when it's hanging and having the light hit it right, it looks so pretty. I'm actually really proud of this one. So, hey Sheila, hey Spence, Philip, Amy, Trina. Did you get everybody? Yeah. So with these inks, these are not water-based inks. So I have to use an odorless paint thinner to thin them out and what have you. I've got some small brushes, and I was looking at the frame, and color-wise, we have kind of a raw umber that is in between. So I'm going to have to maybe touch some of that up. It really upsets me because I really liked how this frame, it has kind of the Edgar Allan Poe Gothic feel to it, which is how the piece kind of feels to me. So I was a bit upset when I took off the protective cardboard only to see this stuff. Now I also pulled out some paint markers. This is an old one, but it still works. I wasn't sure if I was going to have to touch up different colors in order to color match. It's a whole thing. So I think we got this on camera. I might go a little closer. Now Jason is, explain to them why you're drinking coffee. I'm drinking hot cocoa, and I got my marshmallows, and I got my dark chocolate. The manager took care of it, so I'm happy, and it's sprinkled with cinnamon. So,
me.
Mm-hmm.
So I was like, manager, what are you talking about?
You remember?
Oh, yeah.
You messed up, and I'm looking at chat on the tablet. So hopefully,
is it messed up really if your performer doesn't tell you?
What do you mean? That you're the manager?
Yeah.
I guess a little bit. But you are, and I'm your manager. That's how we do things. Oh, going the wrong way. Alright. I'm trying to get it as close as possible so you can see what I'm doing without it being ugly. Alrighty. Now there's all different ways that you can hang your pyro art. You don't have to frame it. Depending on the wood that you use. Hey, bro. You can just put the attachment on the back if that's what you choose to do. Because I'm hanging in a gallery, I want it to look like as close to something as if you saw in a museum. That's what I'm going for. And the frame, depending on how you do it, can make or break a piece too. People are temperamental that way. So I've got a little plastic palette that I will have there. Whew. Here we go. See, it looks aged, so I have to try and figure out. I'm wondering if I shouldn't go with. I do wonder if maybe I should grab your airbrush paint because it's thinner.
That's not my fault.
Show them what it is.
It's a double-sided tape. It's actually an industrial one. A plier. And the reason why I'm using that is because we're fixing brown paper to the back of any of the pieces that have exposed backs. And the reason why you want to do that is because a nice framing, in most reputable framing shops will do this, I think. They'll put this paper on the back to protect the back of it, and it also hides anything on the back. And the back of a piece of,
And this is a great example
art
here.
is nothing, that most people are ever going to see, but it's just one of those little things that adds to the quality of it.
You took the time.
It's professional. It is a professional thing to do, and like I said, a professional framing store or gallery is going to do this. So, it just allows a little bit more protection, and it looks nice, and it's something that we do. I used to work at an art gallery that was also a frame shop, and so I had the benefit of learning a bunch of this stuff. And
your hands are stronger. This is like the one thing I don't do is put the hangers on.
yeah. So, and that's the thing, is that, everything that you do, you just want to have the best possible presentation that you can. And then also, too, there's, framing is an expensive business, and a lot of times you can go to places like Michael's, and you can get
which is where these all came from.
pre-built frames, and because they have a section that's just pre-built frames, no glass, no hardware, anything. And those are actually pretty good deals, because what they do is they take their scrap molding, and they figure out what they can build out of particular size, what they have on hand left. So if they've got like a 6 foot piece of molding left, then they might make that into a frame, that matches those dimensions, if they can get it to a common size. And so that helps them to, have frames on hand for customers who just want to throw something in a frame. But there's a lot of other little things that a framing shop does and charges you for that is really expensive, and and it is. It's a skill, and it's if you get your stuff framed, you want to find a reputable framer that is not gonna break you, because moldings and hardware are very expensive, and then the labor on top of that, the frame, a lot of times, especially if you're framing a poster or an open edition print, a lot of times the framing can actually be triple in value or more to the actual piece that you're framing. So if you're framing like a $20 poster and you decide to get mats,
Which I cut most of the time I cut my own.
Mats, and put glass on it, then you're looking at potentially, if you've got a really expensive molding, you could be looking at upwards of $150 to throw a frame on it. But you also, if you got a piece of art that you like, even if it's a poster, and you don't want to throw a cheap frame on it because it won't last, they'll warp in time, they'll bow as they're hanging on the wall, and They just, it's not a, you want to have a quality frame on your piece.
Turns out this raw umber is exactly the color.
Oh, good.
Mm-hmm.
So what I'm doing is I'm doing all the little things that the framing shop would do. And we have prefabricated frames that we've gotten, and it really doesn't matter where you get them from. You know, you want to take a look at the quality. Like if you're dealing with plastic frames,
Like this one.
there's not a lot that you can do with it.
I'm fixing it.
Is that a plastic one?
It is. It's.
Are you sure?
Yeah, that's what all the white is.
Oh yeah.
Yeah.
Okay.
Hey, Wingman.
Yeah, you have to be careful, but if you've got hardwood frames or wood frames, actually you can do so much to a prefabricated frame that will bring it up to the standard of a completely custom frame. And I think a lot of people don't know that. So, but
if I would have time, I might have thought about spray painting this whole frame, but I really do like the mix of the gold and the bronze. And I think it works well with the burning. And that's definitely something to keep in mind is what looks good with your burning.
oh,
And I won't have the glass in front of the Raven because the glass dampens the prismatic feel that I'm going for with the piece. If I'm just storing it here at home, I will put the glass in front of it if it fits in order to keep the mat clean. But when this is hanging at the gallery, when we hang it today, it's not going to have the glass in front. Yeah, I might, depending on how this looks, I might actually not even have to put the gold on it because I'm using raw umber. It's Matisse. It's the thicker paint. But color-wise, it's doing a great job. And since it's acrylic, it'll dry quickly. So I don't have to worry about that.
so one of the things that is the benefit of doing these little finishing touches on your frames, and what I'm doing right now is I've got the backing on, the paper backing, which protects and it actually hides a lot of the ugly stuff on the back. But I'm rounding the corners on this because there's double-sided adhesive here that's keeping all this stuff down. But the corners tend to bend up, and if it starts to bend up, like anything else, it'll start to pull. So it kind of helps it to stay nice. And if you're getting a frame, you know, for you, it's no big deal. But as an artist, especially if the client or a potential client can pick up the piece and look at it and turn it around, because they will. One thing that helps your presentation as an artist is if the whole thing looks nice. So, you know, you have this beautiful piece of work, you know, and with dog hair on it. It's not inside. It's not in the glass. Don't worry.
Okay.
You hear Val freaking out. So, but
I'm very particular.
But so it's got a really nice this, you know, this beautiful wooden frame, and then you turn around, and it also has this nice backing on the back, which is.
It feels finished, and I think that's the biggest thing, feeling finished.
And this helps your legitimacy as an artist, and it helps that presentation, because if somebody turns it around and it's like, you know, made in Hong Kong on the back, which is not to say that things made in Hong Kong aren't good, but it's a detractor, you know. It's like it is a point away from you. But if it's finished and it looks professional, then that's something else that might just get you a step closer to making that sale.
Well, I think it's also, and I realize that people may, in general, the thought is people will buy their own frames, but it helps in seeing it framed and or matted and framed already, because then they can visualize it easier.
Yeah.
And I try to go with neutral mats. I don't try to get all colorful, because the color of the mat may throw off the piece.
And
Blacks and browns.
something else is that your reputation as an artist with other members of the art community will improve, especially amongst the gallery owners and venue owners, because a lot of times if there's an alligator clip, or if
which this one has, so you're going to decide if
I'll
I'm
look at
done
it.
with it, what you're going to...
I'll look at it.
Okay.
They may get a little turned off on it. I know that some galleries get disgruntled because they're like, oh man, now we have to figure out how we're going to hang this piece because it doesn't exactly conform to, our hanging hardware that we have on our walls.
Which is why the wire is the best to use, because it's across the board.
Yep. So it's just better to have that uniform thing for all of your work, and that way you get a reputation amongst your peers and the art community and the galleries that
easy to work with.
Your stuff is ready to go. It's professional, and that way that's not an issue.
What I'm doing is trying to find all the little pieces. I may still hit it with the gold, but this raw umber is really doing a great job hiding stuff. Let's see here.
And what I'm doing is I'm putting in the hanging hardware. And what I'm doing with this nail
It's going to be noisy.
Yeah, it's going to be noisy. Is I'm making a starter hole. And you want to have it a bit down the piece, because when you put hanging wire, you don't want it to be tight. There needs to be a little bit of slack there. Because it's easier to hang, and that's the expected standard too. Because if it's too tight, then it won't want to balance properly. It'll want to roll, and so your pieces will, any kind of disturbance, they'll
Sorry, headphone guys.
yeah, it'll be off center. So I'm starting these starter holes because I'm using eye loops, and normally I would use a different fastener for this, but the eye loops work really well for this, and these are smaller pieces. So normally what I would use, especially if it was on a larger piece, is one of these, and these would affix right in like this, and it's nice and flat.
Oh, okay.
But we're not going to use that today.
No?
Nope, we're not.
Did you bring a couple of different pieces to do? Because I know we still got 6 pieces.
I brought
framed.
all of them.
Oh, okay.
So during
That
the
works for
course,
me.
I don't know if I'll get all of them done. So what I'm actually going to use though is this little bolt, and these are nice, and they won't pull out from the wall too much, and they're self-threading, so I can get this bolt right down into the wood. You need to be careful when you're doing the frame, because a lot of these frames are more like MDF board, especially if they're not pure wood moldings. Then they're going to be some sort of composite, and it'll tend to shred. So that's why we do the starter holes, even though this particular one is natural wood, so I'm not worried about it.
Is it?
Yeah. So something else we do, I don't have bumpers to put on here,
Oh, on the back.
but if we really, really wanted to, do I have bumpers? No, I don't.
Is there any in here?
If you have any.
I don't know if I have any. Normally you have the framing
Yeah,
stuff.
I don't have bumpers. We ran out.
Oh,
I forgot.
shoot.
But we put like bumpers down at the bottom, and this helps you too, because then the bumpers sit on the wall and they're made of rubber, and it keeps the wall from getting damaged, keeps the frame from getting damaged, and it also stabilizes the art so that it doesn't move as much from left to right. But we're not going to worry about bumpers today. We're just going to put in these eye bolts, and then we're going to put a hanging wire in between.
And the hanging wire allows it to hang anywhere, whether you have you're doing a show, or you've made your own stands, and so you're using hooks or whatnot, or if it's a gallery wall or wherever. The wire makes it the most. I went blank on the word.
It's universal.
Okay, that's closer to at least.
Versatile?
Versatile, yes. Thank you.
Okay.
Yes, that was the word.
And then so when you get hanging wire, there's a couple different choices. But you really don't want to use twine or something like that because, you know, I realize that you might not realize this, but the art community is kind of judgy. And if you have anything but like, you know, like professional grade hanging wire on the back, then somebody's going to raise an eyebrow. And
can I have a spray bottle from over there?
sure.
I need to clean this
Want
frame.
the green one?
That's fine.
The fire extinguisher?
Yes. Thank you. Already got. I'm wiping down the frame to see if this is dirt or if it needs repaint.
Oh,
But the raw umber where I touched down, it's done a really good job. I'm actually quite surprised. I don't think I'm going to have to hit with too much gold.
Good. So I'm going to be using clear wire today, and this is.
Are we out of the other stuff?
It's not, but it's thick.
Oh.
So, and this is a smaller piece, so it'll be fine.
Sorry, cocoa break.
I shouldn't apologize for cocoa break.
Cocoa break.
When do we have to be down there?
This afternoon.
Yeah, but what time this afternoon?
This afternoon.
Okay.
I still have to write.
I'm asking it.
There is no specific.
So our afternoon is spoken for, like afternoon/evening.
The sooner we go, I know you can go to Kung Fu.
Okay, that's what I was asking.
All right, good. I don't have to paint there. Yeah, I might leave that. If they're tiny, I'm not stressing about it. It's just this corner. Some of these pieces were really bright white, and that bothers me, not having it be as uniform as possible. I also pulled out the chart pack markers because you can also use these, the touch-up markers, to touch up your frames if you've got the colors to do it. I have the wood colors, so I can pretty much, in fact, do it. I think some of those frames need to be touched up, don't they?
I have to look.
Okay. Alrighty, so I don't have to do.
I mean, that's why I got the towel down, so I don't damage it. But really, touch up is probably the last thing that you should do.
Yeah.
Because if you're doing framing, then there's potential that you could
I know, but
scratch something.
I needed to get this done before you could frame it, before you could hang it.
Well, I'll let you know.
Alrighty, so it looks like that's pretty clean. I'm trying to be careful because I do know I have acrylic down in this area and I have some along edge, so I'm trying to be careful and not touch that and let it fully dry before I decide where I'm going to go further. Now, on this edge, which is the top, you can really see. Let's see here if I can get the color for you guys. Hey, Melissa. They've got it really. I wonder. Could I use? And you could seal this if you want to, but the frame, I don't have time, and two, between the acrylics and the inks, they should be fine. They should be fine. And I don't know if this one is going on an easel in the front window of the gallery or if it's going on the wall. I'm just going to tap in there. I really don't want to redo the whole frame. I just want to touch up the parts that stand out the most. Because I don't want it taken away from the burning, because at least for me, I notice everything. See, even the burnt umber is doing good here. And white is gone. Oh, yay. Don't have to worry about that. This edge. See, and all of this was under the protective cover, so I couldn't see it when I picked it up. I think in the future, if I find a frame that I really, really like, I'm going to take the cardboard off so I can see. Because I don't want to have to sit here and do this every time. Though this is my first Gothic feel frame, or Victorian, or whatever you want to call it. Gilded. Imitation gilding. that in there. Use a little more paint. And even the amount of paint I put out is too much because it does not take a lot. Let's see, we got this right here. Let's see it my own camera. I gotta remember to look since I'm the one with the tablet in front of me. You got busy hands. See, I don't think, it's not like a buyer is going to go over the frame unless you've got the frame listed as part of the art piece and you're charging, you know, $200 for that frame. They're not going to be looking that close. But I don't want it to stand out. So that's why I'm doing this.
I'm going to have to get a better pair of wire cutters. Do you have any wire cutters in here?
All my decent wire cutters are in the jewelry making box.
Which are?
It was in your studio.
No, you took it.
Get it down there. I don't remember taking it, but anything is possible. Okay, I'm gonna have to hit this up with.
I'm gonna get some out of the garage.
Okay. Do we have decent ones in the garage?
I think so.
Let's see here. Oops. Sorry. I'll have him close the studio door when he comes back in since Moon is in a mood. I had to close the back door because she was barking. Get this in here. I also grabbed some toothpicks to get into small areas if I needed it. And I'm not sure if I could have taken, I probably could have taken this back to Michael's and exchanged it. I just, between sealing and framing and matte cutting, I just did not have time. We got this on Sunday. Alright, we'll let that dry. See if there's any more edges. And then, let's see here. There's a dot there. So you can also do this with frames that you find at flea markets or garage sales, wherever you find your frames. You can always touch them up. I had thought about taking my gold leaf to it, but that would take a lot of time. And the gold leaf isn't cheap. And not knowing what's going to happen with this frame. Huh?
Let's see what the dog's doing.
You know what he wants.
Well, I don't know.
It's not like he's saying hi to everybody. Let's see here. Alright, so I think I'm going to switch over to the ink. Now, like I said, the ink is alcohol-based, solvent-based, so you really don't want to use water with it. I recently saw a video where somebody was using water with the Bombay inks as well, and the water and solvent just don't work well together. So I'm going to stick to odorless paint thinner. I keep seeing more weight, and I don't know if it's like you guys can see it or if it's just the light hitting it. I'm not sure. It does kind of bug me that it's not like this was a cheap frame, even though it was on sale. But I shouldn't have to do this. Again, if you don't want to use these kind of frames, totally fine. How an artist presents their work is very personal. And I don't know that there's really a wrong way to do it. It's how you want your art to be viewed, how the feeling you want it to have and invoke for other people. I really don't think there's a wrong way
What's the wrong way for what?
to hang art, to present your art. I mean, I guess if you're using a cruddy frame,
Well, you can hang it.
it can cause issues.
You can hang it with the back to the viewer.
Hmm?
You can hang it
What
with
do
the
you-
back to the viewer.
Back to the viewer.
Yeah, so that the glass was facing the wall. That might be wrong.
Okay, yeah. Presenting your art. Oh, and I did finish this raven. I got it, the middle leaf on it. Next time I think I'm going to use the ink. But, so I got this guy done. It might have a new home. I'll know by 1 o'clock today, hopefully. If not, it's going to the gallery. Alright. So now we have to shake these up really good. And what I've noticed is these are pretty much the two colors. I should find a scrap piece of something to test the colors on, just to make sure. And I do think I need to use it in some areas. I was hoping that it was dirt in some of these areas, but it looks like it isn't. It's actual paint or whatever they're calling this coming off. So shake real good. Shake, shake, shake the ink up. Shake it all the time. Sorry, I had Beetlejuice pop in my head for some reason.
It's been a long time.
It has been a long time. Alright, I gotta find something to test on. I think I will just grab this scrap of watercolor paper just so I can see the color. The color is going to be slightly different when it touches this, just because it's a different color underneath. So that's going to change. So I'm going to put a drop in here. This is just a cheap little palette. Put, hey Greg. Let's see, hopefully. Whew, why does that smell? Whew, that does not smell good.
What doesn't smell good?
This ink. The bronze.
I don't know.
Color wise, it's pretty darn close. At least enough to tap into. I'm not brushing the whole thing because like I said, I'm not redoing the frame. I'm just touching up. And there we go. It could be just because it's metal ink, if that's why it smells that way. Alright, I am going to grab another paintbrush because that one's wet. But you know what? I really could use a little one. I was doing good with it. Trying to get as dry as I can. Alrighty, so this is the solvent. That is the gold, which is going to be harder to see because it's on white paper. And this is the bronze. Alrighty. So the gold is not a bright gold, which is good because this isn't a bright gold. And the bronze, just tapping it in should be fine. So what we're going to do is I am actually going to be smart about this. There's something. And I'm going to take this gold and actually apply it to the back of the frame near the gold area just so I can see. That was pretty bright. Am I on gold or did I go? I am going to keep this lid on. I just need to wipe the brush off to get the ink off. You can also use this to thin the ink if you need to. Alright, put it to the side. Let's try this again.
What you just saw me do with the pliers is I'm crimping the wraps down so that they're secure, because this wire is bendy, but it'll be affixed better if it's not just coiled.
Here's a piece of gold.
So that one's done. So
it turns out to be too bright. Alright, what I'm going to quickly do, just a test on the inside of the frame, is because there's warm and cool gold, and so that's what I'm kind of fighting with right now. That's a warm gold.
the tiger has like a little minute nick in it.
Huh?
Right there.
Oh, well, you can use the marker for that.
Okay. I'm not going to focus on that though right now. Okay.
Well, marker wise, I think it would be that color. Or no, not that color. Not that color. It would be closer to one of these.
Are these furniture touch-up?
Yes. Well, they're markers. They're okay. This is not a good pen. It is dead. Off you go. Alrighty, next pen. I know this one's old, but it actually worked last time I used it a couple of days ago.
Oh, those are
What?
potent.
Yes, those are the not ethanol.
Alcohol?
No, they're not alcohol. They're
Or something.
Alright, let's test this.
Okay. Next one.
Checking color. That is still bright. Maybe go back and forth. This could be a possibility, but I'm not. Whew, definitely a paint marker. I remember being a kid in school. Paint markers were all the rage in the 80s. What I'm going to do here is I don't normally keep mineral spirits out, but I don't want to have to keep lifting the lid. So this way I can just dip if I need to thin. Alright. I wonder what would happen if we actually mix the colors. So that, see, that one almost seems closer to the bronze by adding the gold with it. Alright, let's jump in and do this. Hold breath. Always makes me nervous. Alright, let's see. Luckily the ink will dry quickly. That worked pretty good. Let's see. Let's find another little spot so that we can ensure. Hopefully I'm on camera. I know I zoomed out, but I might have to go back and touch that one with gold, which I think would be fine. Do you see any other spots? And it doesn't take a lot, just a little tap. In fact, we'll do it on this, because this is where I added some of the burnt umber. So let's put that in there. Let's see. I'm trying to get it so you guys can see. I think this one would be more straight gold. So it's a matter of going back and forth and trying to find what works the best. Luckily, this stuff layers on top of each other, so it doesn't feel like if you touch it, oops, you screwed up and can't fix it.
So these little stays that I'm bending down right now, which probably everybody is used to seeing in a, they actually, it's not a cheap thing, even though the frame itself looks cheap on the backside, but these, it's almost like a stapler, and it shoots out these little thin clips, and so it's actually like a tool that you'd see in a frame shop. So, and
look at that! You can't even tell I fixed it. Look at the screen, look. The corner.
Oh, it's nice.
Right there, you can't even tell I fixed it. It goes just enough. Woohoo! Makes me feel better. Makes me feel better. Yay! Okay, confidence is a little better now. Let's do this. Sorry, love. Let's find another one to do. Since I covered up with the burnt umber, it's a little harder to see where I fixed. I know I fixed them here. So that I'm just using the straight gold right now. I'm just tapping in, and it kind of helps blend with the rest of it. I could, like I said, I could have done the spray paint, but I would have been worried about time. Plus, it would have been a brighter color than I want. I like this more muted color versus a bright gold. The tape monster.
It's gonna be squeaky for a little bit.
This is our house, our life as artists. Alright, I do need to tap into this crevice, because this crevice here is part of the gold. Alrighty. I know I put some paint here. And I'm not trying to get it like fully solid. And tapping it in and just kind of hitting some of the spots, it makes it look more authentic. Like, we didn't fix it. This is how it came. So, it's not being lazy. It's just trying to blend as much of it in as possible. That's all. Okay. Get that tapped in. What I have to decide is what I'm going to do there. Here. Yeah, you really can't tell. I'm being very careful and holding back, because I don't want to overdo it. I don't want to. I really do like this frame. I think it definitely has the Edgar Allan Poe feeling to it that I wanted for that Raven. Let's see here. Do we see? It's not a trap. Can you guys see the difference in just a little bit of pink? I'm curious to see how it's showing up on camera. Philip wants to know when the doctor cleared you to use sharp objects. You can't tell the doctor because he doesn't know. Now, for me, this is the only thing for my art that Jason helps with. My hands are no longer strong enough to do all the twisting and cutting of the wire and stuff. So, from sanding to creating my pattern and picking the wood and finishing it, of course burning it, all of that is me. This is the one little part that, though I do think it's just as important, that you help me with. Which I think helps in my knowledge of things, because I do everything. Philip says I can. I guess, Philip, can use sharp objects? You can't, is what he's saying.
I get that.
Sorry, he's focused.
I'm focused.
When he's focused, he's a grumpy bear.
I just set the paper wrong, so I had to tear it off and I had to relay the adhesive down.
He gets to be a grumpy bear. If he has to do things over again, whew.
I hate that.
He hates redoing things, so if he has to, I just...
I like going for the middle, but I misjudged it. So
well,
I'm just
things happen.
using a different method to do it.
Things happen. In fact, I thought I only had a small piece of dark matte left over, and I cut it wrong last night. And I was like, ugh, I'm gonna have to use black now. And I got lucky. I looked in my matte container because I got a giant box of mattes, so that I can cut them to size. And luckily, I still had one piece left. I had to recut. What's funny is, as I marked it out, I had the saying going in my head: check twice, cut once. And I was like, no, I got this. Guess what? I did not have this. Had to do it again. And I got lucky. I do need to order some more dark mats. Alrighty, do we see any more? I do. Every time I change angles. And I'm getting these corners because they do show next to the art. So that's why I'm trying to get them. Now, do you guys see the difference? I know that I don't have a photo of the original popped up. Philip wants to know what did you say you were using on the edge to stick the paper? It is, can I? Yeah, you can. No, you got camera.
It's advanced glider tape.
Yep.
From Scotch. And, tape glider, that's the mechanism, but it runs double-sided tape, and you want this,
a lot of crafters and card makers use it.
I think it's 1/4 inch, but it's double-sided.
You can get it on Amazon. I don't know if I have it.
If you're not doing a lot of framing, you can get it in much smaller applicators. Like, much, much smaller.
Yeah.
Like, I'm actually using, what we used in the gallery was not that a big one. We had a bunch of smaller ones that we used.
Well, I just grabbed that wood.
No, that's fine.
So it's just, they call it a tape gun. Philip says it looks good. I am trying to bring it around so that it blends.
So the gallery that I worked at, we had, for custom orders, like if somebody wanted, like double, triple mats and fancy stuff like that, they'd send it off to our frame shop. But if it was like a standard size, like 11 by 14, 8 by 10, 16 by 24, 16 by 20, something like that.
Yeah.
We had frames and mats in the shop that were pre-cut, or in the gallery that were pre-cut, and everybody had to know how to frame. So we had to know how to use all the assembly tools, which making frames is a whole different thing.
Yeah,
and
it is.
And it requires, you can do it as long as you've got like a chop saw and you've got the stuff to join the frames with. And some of that stuff can get expensive. And of course, if you get the more expensive stuff, then it takes less time and you can do it in mass, but you really wouldn't want to do that unless you were doing a lot of framing.
I did a couple frames. It ticks me off if I can see it a hair of it being off. And then in my brain, I have to do it all over again because it's just not good enough. So to me, it's just easier to buy a frame. And if I need to cut a custom, like this raven that goes in here, it's a 6x8. So that's not a standard size. So I did have to cut the mat for it, and because I used a 1/4 inch. Let's see here. Yeah, I used 1/4 inch wood. It can only accept. It's like a tight fit, and it can only take one mat. If it's paper, I try in general to do one with paper. It's a standard size, so you don't have to worry about. You could buy a mat if you wanted to, but with paper, I tend to try to go with a double mat because I just think it looks better. Alrighty, let's go over here. It's right thick. Let's thin it out. Come on, I know you're in here. I poured you. Thin it out. Why?
One thing too is always recheck your work from the top side before you put hanging hardware in, so that you don't put it on upside down or something like that. Because I've been known to do that. I don't do it much anymore.
Yeah.
Keyword much.
Okay. Interesting enough, this is cleaning the brush with water. Okay. Well, it'll bead up more, but for whatever reason, the paint's really thick, which is odd because I haven't actually even used this. Okay, so what I'm doing is tapping in.
Loud noise.
Loud noises. I'm gonna have to go with this with gold, I think. Let's see. Well, you know, I think it works. But I missed that corner, so that one's gold. And see, this is just where the frame doesn't. This is the part that bugs me in framing, which is why I don't like doing it. I don't like when it sits off like this. It just bugs me. Get in there. Doesn't want to get in the crack.
Okay. More loud noises.
Huh?
I didn't tap this one in far enough. More loud noises.
You just want to bang stuff.
No, I really don't.
Let's see. Yeah. It just makes me feel better when things look the way I picture it, which is why I think some people wouldn't have worried about the frame. They would have gone with it, but my brain freaks out.
Well,
alright, you know, where...
The care that you put into presentation translates over to
over here.
What people see.
Yeah.
You know?
I was trying to figure out where I touched up, and I think, yep, it's here. But I think that's a good thing. If I'm having a hard time finding the touch-up, then maybe I did an okay job. At this point, I just... Let's see here. See, I think the bronze is too bright, and for the edge. But I hit it pretty good, so I think I'm going to be okay with that. Now I found the two corners. Oh, now this one, I said I need to touch up here. Tap, tap, so that we don't get a heavy coat of paint. Okay, that's the corner I need to do. And I think, oh, I'm missing a white. There we go, white there. So what I'll do is, since I'm seeing gold issues, as I'll switch back over to the gold. Just mix it back together. Because it's copper plated gold, you can see the copper base separating from. Alright, that white went away. So we got this corner, and I said there was 2 corners. That one. Alrighty. Let's don't go knocking around the frame after I just painted it. I'm trying to get an angle so you can see what I'm doing. Alrighty.
I don't think a lot of times. I'm trying to be better. Sorry, I've been off camera. Yeah. So when you're doing the wires on the back, just try and get the twists on the wires tight as you can around the hanging line. One needs neat appearance, and then you also don't want it to be gouging into the paper in the back, so it needs to be wrapped tight.
Which is why I really need you to do it, so that, because my hands, I used to have decent strength in my hands, but not anymore.
I thought you said that it was peasant work and you didn't want to do it.
I don't want to do it either. It's not peasant work.
Tore that a little bit, but that's okay. Still looks good.
And I'll post a photo once everything is hung at the gallery and in its place. So you can see he's bringing, the co-owner of the gallery is bringing fall foliage to put around the ravens. Because I'm the featured artist, I get at least part of the front window.
Hey, we're both featured artists for like 2 days.
Oh, no, well, yeah.
Because I'm still featured artist over at Comet, and my art comes down on Thursday.
On Thursday.
And yours will be up
Today.
So,
Yep.
so for me, the show ends on, well, the gallery's not open right now, so technically it's over. But
It'll be open on Thursday. Oh, but it comes down on
it
Thursday.
comes down on Thursday.
Alright, so this is where I had done the testing. I just want to, don't need to, but got the ink out. You can see the difference in the color. But I think, oh, I found some white there. No! I already switched off from the brown. Guess we're going back. Alright. Maybe. The brown the acrylic paint can dry very quickly. Alrighty, so let's touch here.
So this one has a wire on the back.
You just need to do the paper, right?
And so this presents an interesting problem. I remember when we did this, we didn't have backing paper, and we were
Is that the elephants?
Yeah, and so I put the wire on, but I really want to put backing paper, because I want to put backing paper on everything that I can, whenever I can. And I'd kind of forgotten about this because it was hanging on the wall.
Oh, the back door's open. I didn't realize.
I opened it back up. I had to go to the bathroom.
Oh.
So I'm going to do the backing paper, and then I'm going to cut a slit for the wire to come through. So it's real easy.
Alright. Do we see any other places that we think might drive me nuts? 'Cause that's really what this is about.
Well, it's you.
It's me.
So
Yeah.
there could be any number of places.
I know, that's why I'm looking closely. I am very picky.
No.
Yeah, I know. It's hard to believe, isn't it? But I don't mind that because I like being able to walk away thinking I've done the best that I could do, presented it in the best possible way I could, accomplish, and then I'm okay, and then I don't worry about it. But I'll tell you what, if I would have used this frame without touch-up, I would have been thinking about it all the time.
Squeaky.
He's not calling me squeaky.
No, I'm warning the people with headphones.
And this is a little blurry screen-wise. We are filming in 1080. There's a little down at the bottom here. Let's see, make sure. Down in the bottom, right there should be a gear. If you click on that, you can change the speed of the video. Alright. It's like every time I turn it, I see more. Well, if you'd stop moving around, it wouldn't be so squeaky.
Well, I got to.
That's your... Oh, I didn't tell them last week was your birthday.
What? Birthday?
Yeah, last week was your birthday. We didn't
I don't have birthdays.
You turned 5 last week, last Thursday. Do we know what 5 really translates to?
Version 5.0.
Let's see here. Is it a frame you intend to keep for your house, presentation of your art, or sell with the burning? Sell with the burning. All of these are just to sell with the burning. If somebody wants a custom frame. I always try to buy my frames on sale. Like these frames I got, well, they were already 50% off. And then I had a coupon for 25% off everything in the store, including sale items. So that was another 25% off these frames. So a total of 75% off. And this one, I have to look at the receipt. I think this frame was either 22 or 26. Can't remember.
So, like, if you're doing custom framing, though, like, it is nice, but it is very expensive.
Yeah.
Unless you have some sort of connection with the framer, because...
Well, they do a job, too, and definitely deserve...
Oh, yeah. I mean, but it's one of those things, and I'm not trying to say, oh, it's a rip-off or anything like that. There is a large markup on material, so I will tell you that.
But you're also paying for their eye.
Yeah, you're paying for their expertise. But if you have the mind to do this, like, there is a lot of stuff. I mean, even if you wanted a specific molding, you could tell, frame, because when you go to a framing shop, typically it's like you bring the piece of art with you and they'll go through the process with you, and they'll talk about color selections and moldings and all that stuff. But if you know what you want on the frame, and you know which molding would look good, you can go into a frame shop and you can have them cut a molding, or even potentially even cut mats for that molding. Say, hey, I've got a 16 by 20 piece of art, and so I want a 2.5 inch mat on that, so that's going to be in 18.5 by 22.5 frame opening, and I want this molding. Then you can get them to cut that, and they might not like that because a lot of frame shops want to have like that full control. But if you have the mats, if you're not able to cut mats and you're not able to do frames, then you could get by with a lot of savings, and you could just assemble it yourself if you have the know-how.
Everybody's telling you happy birthday.
Oh, well, thank you.
We went to Red Lobster for your birthday.
Yep, we did.
Uh-oh. Dry. Ink is starting to dry on me. That's part of the problem. The ink is starting to dry. Let's see, look right, yes. Because I missed this spot. I think I'm going to be finishing up.
So, the work that we're doing here in the studio with the framing translates to, especially with the amount of pieces that we've got, we're saving
a lot of money.
Hundreds of dollars in labor. And what do I get paid?
Kisses.
Nothing.
Kisses. Don't tell them you don't get paid.
Kisses, yes. I get paid kisses. I get kisses anyway.
You're just paying it in full.
I get paid nothing.
Okay, who does your art photos? Who does your art photos?
Kate Chamberlain.
Who does them?
Okay, you do.
And I don't get paid, do I?
You kiss him.
I knew you were going to say that. So see, we help each
I
other.
do framing.
Huh?
I do framing. That's how you get paid.
And I do your photos.
Okay.
I thought I saw a spot, but I think I just need to be okay with that. So let's see here. That's the bottom. This is the area I fixed up here, which luckily enough, I think, maybe not. Maybe I found something, because that's how it always happens. Guess when I say I'm going to be done. Oh yes, hints. I'll, you know what? Can I have the list? I'll do the hint today because your hands are full. It's on where I would normally keep it. I knew we were forgetting something.
There you go.
Thank you. Luckily, I do have a hint.
Do you?
I do. I already wrote it down.
Sorry
about that. So, for our celebrity hints to win a print. Ooh, sorry, hit the mic. To win a print, I got 2 prints being given away. One for chat and one for comments on replay. So definitely leave your comments, and I start the piece next week. So finally, I can get to that. Start the piece next week, and if you guess it before I finish it, I will contact you and let you know that you got it and won the print, so that you don't have to wait for the reveal. I won't be burning it live. It's going to be a speed video when I'm done. Sorry, I thought I saw a spot. I know I saw a spot, and now I can't find the spot. So it's bothering. So, I know that probably made no sense because I've got my brain doing 2 things at once. Jason normally does the hints and offers to give away the art. See, you did. Alright, so this, let me touch this down and then I'll put it down. Alright. So, on our list, we have this person is a male. Their hair is like a iconic part of their style. They are not dead. They are not a musician. They are in entertainment. They are on American TV, not network TV. Free hint, no clowns. They have dark hair, no gray. Has facial hair. The show he is on is a reality type show. They are from the Midwest. They have long hair. They don't do contact sports. I can't read what you wrote here.
What? My writing's fine.
That word, right? What did you...
Fan of and participated in performance type non-contact sports.
Okay. Classified as a reality show host. And they are a genuine soul. This week's hint, they are a genuine soul. Here you go, love. So, do we get all that? Or did I read it too fast? Maybe I read it too fast.
Do you have any normal tape?
Normal tape. What kind of normal tape?
Yeah, oh, that'll work.
I kept those over there for you.
Thank you.
Now, I can't put this back in the frame yet because I want it to make sure it's completely dry. I don't want anything on the art. And like I said, next week I will start the special piece. I've been able to burn a little quicker lately. I don't know if that's been out of necessity or just feeling a little bit better.
I think it's both.
Both?
Yeah.
Well, I've been doing my shot now for, what are we at, a month now?
Yeah.
And I do think that my eczema shot has helped a little bit with my lupus. So that's definitely something. And not having quite as many flare-ups definitely makes me happy. Still tired because not as many flare-ups. I've seen a couple places, and then I think we're going to wrap up. Do we have any questions? How did you open up a big... Did you open a big can of worms?
What?
Big bag of worms. Philip wants to know, or told you just opened a big bag of worms, he thinks.
I don't know.
What did you do?
I don't know. I'm always doing something. So you have to tell me what I did.
Oh, I think, it might have to do with the whole not getting paid.
The what?
You don't get paid for doing the framing part.
Oh.
There. I think that might be what he's talking about.
And
you more than get paid.
Hey, don't be defensive. I was just gonna say we're artists and we're together and we don't keep track like that. So
no, but you do get paid.
You feel bad or something?
You do get paid. I don't want them to think that I don't appreciate it.
I volunteered to do this because it's a skill that I have. So here we have before we go. So here we have an interesting thing. So this is one of these. Here.
Oh, I know. You can't take them off either.
Yeah, you can.
Can you?
Yeah, just
without ripping it off. You ripped it off, didn't you?
Maybe. So there isn't. If I wanted to get in here, I could cut this out. But the problem is that this part goes beyond the plane of it. It sticks out. So unless for sure that you want to use this as something to lean on, then
meaning that in whatever show you're doing that you'll be able to put it down.
Yeah, and your customers are okay with that, then you could do that. I would do around this, but I'm not going to do that. I'm going to tear this off because I can paper over it, and if somebody wants to have a nice leaning thing on it, then they can get a little easel for a few dollars.
Yeah. Oh yeah.
So it's very important to take the utmost care when you're wrenching it off.
Because he doesn't want to get in trouble for breaking it.
There we go.
Did it break?
Huh?
Did it break?
Oh, only a little bit. So, and if there's a sharp edge, you bend that down.
We're about to have to do lunch so we can finish this. I also have to do my bio, send some photos. At least I got the inventory list done.
At least you got that.
Yep.
Well, and I was able to do this while we broadcasted, so that's nice.
And cut some time. And that's what I was thinking, because I knew I didn't have time to start a new piece. And I knew I needed to get this done. I almost thought about canceling the live. Yeah, that sounds like his bone. Your bones. It sounds like your bones.
My bones?
Your bones. Because you turned 5.
That's good. That's squeaky.
So you think. Philip's calling you a suck up.
What?
Gotta talk to Philip. Alright. Now, putting it down. Don't think I see anything else that's going to stress me out.
Just wait.
What are you saying?
Just saying that the things that stress you out are many.
Or what?
Or mini.
No, it's not. I'm pretty laid back.
You are. And you know what?
I am a
You're not a
perfectionist.
perfectionist. You just demand uncompromising.
How is it uncompromising? If I can do
minimum tolerances on everything that you do and see.
If I can do it, then it's not uncompromising. And I try very hard not to ask anybody to do something not to ask somebody to do something that I wouldn't do. I've done what you're doing. I've done it.
Here.
So we got scuffs here. I'm trying to figure out how. You know what? I'm not gonna stress about it. I think I'm going. As I find like one more spot where I applied the raw umber, but forgot to hit. You think? Yeah, this is gonna be. I'm calling it done, but I will say I like it much better than what it was before I fixed it. I'm not seeing all that white that I was getting. This ink dries quickly. It doesn't smear. Yeah, I'm not seeing anything on the camera. And it looks like it's supposed to. Like this is the top. I did fixing up here, but was able to blend it in. So I'm much happier with this. And I did take my time. I probably could have stopped earlier, but I wanted to make sure we streamed for a while. So that's why I kept going and finding things. So
it's educational.
Yeah. So now actually I have to put this back in the frame because once you wire it, one thing I need to do is make sure. I'm going to actually back out for you guys because I am. There we go. We can see my mess. Alright, so that's the top, Because it's a thick piece of wood, I don't know that I like these though, because they come undone.
What are you talking about?
The little thingies that at least with the staple type that you were talking about, they stay in place.
Oh, the ones that you turn.
Yeah, the ones you turn.
Yeah, those aren't preferable because they do, especially if you live in a place with a lot of earthquakes, or if you live next to train tracks or freeway or something where you're getting vibration all the time.
All right. Oh, I feel so much better about it. Look at
nice.
that. Look at that, love. You can't even tell right here in the corner that's where it was broken. Look on the screen. Right there. That is where the most paint was off. It was right here.
Oh yeah, except for that one spot. There's no spot. I just like to see the look on her face when she does that.
Thanks so much. I'm sorry. Thank you so much, Philip. Bro wants to know, do you cut the paper right at the edge? So what I can do, since he's still on the screen, I mean, I'm staying on the screen.
Oh.
But what I'm going to do...
Different galleries will have different standards. Like the gallery that I worked at was a 1/4 inch off the farthest edge of the frame. But it depends on the frame.
You're bigger on the screen so they can see what you're doing.
Yeah, so like here, I'm not doing like a strict 1/4 inch or 1/8 of an inch or a 1/4 inch. I'm just doing if it's a wider frame, then depends on where I've laid it down. I laid the tape down further in on this, so I could go further in. And it, just as long as the back area is covered is the thing. So, and then when you're putting your hanging hardware in, like the rule of thumb is you want it to be about
Wait a second, Mike.
it depends on the size of it, but but generally like a quarter down is a good rule of thumb. But
Quarter down from where?
quarter down from the top
Oh,
of,
okay.
of the frame. So like here's the top. So I'm going to put the hanging hardware in right around here, right around 3.5 inches, and that just doesn't really matter, just as long as it's on the top half, you know, and so that when you have slack, you don't want your wire to show above the frame, because looks really bad. So and then when I drive the nail in, I just want to do it in a central spot to get, you know, in the thickest part of the frame.
Noise. Alright, so do we have any other? I'm gonna make you little again.
Okay.
You'll live.
No, I'm small. Help me. Help me. Chad, help me. Valerie's makes me small.
WS. What is Luna typing again?
Yeah, it could be.
Let's see here. Oh, I'm much
What the heck?
much happier. Did you break it?
No, it's the defective one. It doesn't have any threads.
Oh, oops.
That's alright. It's a big box.
Thank goodness. I am definitely really happy with this frame. For some reason, though, our color has this little pinky, but we're not pinky. We're yellowy. We shall do this. Actually, I just put the auto on. There we go. I had that off. Demon Cat. So yes, that was Luna typing in chat.
She wants to be a part of it too.
She does. So I'm really happy. Right now you're seeing a lot of light hit it. So what I'm going to do is not that. I'm trying to get the glare off because it's laying down. On art, you tend to want your light to hit at 45-degree angle. But since it's laying down, you're not seeing the 45. I am definitely loving using gloss varnish. Loving it.
Me too. In fact, do you want to take a picture, speaking of services?
That sounds bad. That's left for another channel.
They're going to want to know what that channel is. Or not. Do you want to take a picture of the Atlanta piece? Do you want to take a picture of it before I put gloss on it?
Yeah, take a picture before you put gloss on it, and then I'll take a picture after you put gloss on it. Let's see here. Do the lights this way. No. I'm just trying to get the glare off. There is a different way that I am photographing my art now, and I probably should make a video on that as well.
Okay. Do I know this way?
I don't know that you know that I'm doing it. I don't know that you know that I know that you know.
I'm pretty sure based off of that, I have no idea what you're talking about.
Yeah, I'm really happy with this piece. I think this has more Edgar Allan Poe feel than the magazine piece. There we go. We can see it a little better now. And I like how I used actual white color pencil to make... I used Derwent Chinese white to really try to make it glow a little bit in the moon without being too much. Burl says her virgin eyes and ears were gone long ago. Long ago. It's wasn't hope it's pay-per-view.
Pay-per-view.
Is pay-per-view still even around?
Yeah. Yes.
What do I know? Why do you know?
Huh?
What do you know?
Because that's what fights are broadcast on. But I don't watch fights.
I know you don't. I know. There we go. So if we don't have any more questions, I think we need to do lunch.
Okay.
Finish getting all the art ready. I think most of the... You've got 1, 2. You're on your third, what, 3 more? 4 more.
Third or fourth.
I think that needs to be done. And then we will head off to the gallery. Thank you so much. I'm actually really happy with it. I'm going to use more decorative frames, I think. I think it makes a big difference. As long as it fits. So,
Yeah.
I'm not going to do it just to do it, but I really, 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 for my ravens, silver and gold, be really cool. Really, really cool. I'll put that over here, but you can't really see it. So, if you're watching this on replay and you've made it this far, one, thank you. Definitely need that watch time.
What's 2?
2, if you're watching to the end and you haven't subscribed, make sure to hit the subscribe down below. And hit the like button, please. Please. Pretty please. Need to feel the love. And don't forget, there's one thing you really should never forget. You are awesome. You can do this. You're a pyro artist. Happy birthday. What are you laughing?
Just the way you said it.
I was following the screen. Happy burning, guys. Bye. You want to say bye?
Bye.